William Shakespeare talked about what the world is a stage.
Yeah.
Everywhere we go, whether we're talking to one person or 10,000 people, everywhere we go, we're on stage, and we have opportunities to present to the world who we are, and sometimes it leads to unexpected, amazing results.
Welcome to the Marketing Expedition Podcast, an auditory journey through the latest in marketing, branding, and advertising. Now, here's your Marketing Expedition guide, Ray Allen.
On this episode of the Marketing Expedition Podcast, I get to speak with Louis Katz, and he's a keynote speaker, coach, and founder of The Courage Inside, where he helps leaders and teams build courageous companies, one bold step at a time. With a unique blend of business acumen, street photography, stand-up comedy, and a knack for telling stories, Louis inspires audiences to ditch fear-based decisions and embrace everyday courage as a driver for innovation, culture, and growth. A former IT company president turned speaker, Louis knows what it takes to lead through uncertainty. Whether he's blowing a wrong note on his harmonica, which you'll get to see that, firing up a crowd with his signature Fortune favors, the bold keynote, or sharing lessons learned from 10,000 feet up with the U.S. Army Golden Knights, Louis brings a fresh, relatable perspective to navigating change, fostering fearless teams, and standing out in a crowded marketplace. So let's get ready for a conversation with Louis that's part strategy, part story, and all empowering leaders to live large, be bold, have faith, and fear nothing. So we'll learn more about what he's got going on with The Courage Inside and some fun things with Louis. So stay tuned for that. But first, it's time for your Marketing Essentials moment, the basics that you need to help you continue to build your brand and your bottom line. The topic I wanted to cover today is the power of storytelling and utilizing storytelling in brand recall and in helping with increasing engagement and conversions and conversations if you're online or offline, regardless of how you are telling that story. There's definitely things that we can cover on how the power of storytelling really will help build your brand and, of course, your bottom line. So let's think about the original idea of storytelling, right? It started with hieroglyphs or petroglyphs, what are they called, on the wall, where you were seeing images of animals that were drawn, back in the day, right? On caves that are out there, and telling a story through pictures, right? And things that are being done through pictures. Fast forward to now, and we are telling stories either visually, audibly, or we are, doing interpretive dance even as storytelling, right? So thinking about the different ways that stories can be told and how those stories are impactful. Maybe just take a moment and think about a time when somebody was telling you a story. What was memorable about it? What did you remember about the story that was told to you? Why did you remember it? Was it the way it was delivered? Was it the context in which it was delivered? Was it the person who was delivering the story to you that made it memorable? Maybe it was, a grandparent or an elderly person that you wanted to admire and listen to and be mentored by. Maybe it was a friend of yours. Maybe it was like your 5-year-old son who has a story to tell, right? I mean, what were the kind of the thoughts that came to mind when somebody was telling you a story, when I asked you that question? Think about a story that you were told. What do you remember about it? And, all of the things that come into context and into play when people are being told stories, how are they absorbing it? Are they really listening, or is it that they're multitasking? Are they listening to a podcast just like you are right now? Are you doing multiple things right now? Are you vacuuming while you're listening? Are you driving while you're listening? Are you hearing what I'm saying to you? And are you fast forwarding it in double time? What is it that you're doing? How are you absorbing the story that I'm telling right now? What is it that you are gaining from this and the experience that you're having, right? What are the things that make a good story happen? whether it's on the news, whether it's, a video clip that you're looking, maybe it's a TikTok video. What is it that you're envisioning right now when I say, think of a story that is memorable to you? What were the results of that story? Did you learn a lesson? Was there a call to action? Did you do something because of it? Did you get angry? Did you get emotional in some way? Did you get happy or sad or frustrated? Or what is it, the emotion that you felt when that story was being told to you? What types of things come to mind when a good story is being told? How can we explore the structure and the effectiveness of that story that's being told? What are the qualities or the characteristics that make it memorable? Is it the visuals that are going along with it? Is it, all the things that we can think about a great story and how that power of storytelling can really enhance what you're wanting to accomplish, whether it's building awareness or getting fundraisers, going, getting donors to donate, getting, teenagers to learn about STIs or STDs? What is it that you're wanting to accomplish here? And what can you do to think about those stories that really resonated with you, that have that emotional impact, that can really tap into the emotions that you want people to feel? Good, bad, or indifferent, right? Maybe we want to frustrate people. Maybe we want them to be feared, have fear in their minds. Maybe we want them to feel, emotional and happy, or any of those emotions that you can think of. What are the things that can drive the action to relatability and consistency? Is it testimonial videos? Is it something that somebody said about somebody else that is going to make it memorable? Is it just a company overview or a brand story video? Is it something that, you can relate and then repeat and then have other people share? And is it going to be viral? Is it something that, you can create in that story that you're telling, that you're capturing the emotions and everything that you want them to hear about that story that's being told? And is it short form? Is it long form? I mean, every type of story has a purpose in a different way. And in what people are saying, those stories can result in multiple different ways, right? But some things that you can think of when you are having the power of storytelling, you're utilizing that and leveraging that. Think about the things that you can have people do for you, like the testimonial videos that we're talking about. It helps build trust with real customer stories or case studies or, impact videos of things that have been displayed and shown because of something that was done or said. What kind of things can you do to showcase those success stories? By, keeping it genuine, keeping it real, keeping those emotions that you want people to resonate with, and highlighting those specific benefits or results that you want. And of course, being concise and engaging to continue to capture people's attention, right? That's always the big thing right now, is how much attention can you keep captured when you are telling these stories? And if other potential customers or clients or constituents hear these stories directly from your satisfied customers or your people that you serve, they're going to feel more confident in making decisions based on the trust that's been established, not by you touting yourself and being all braggy about yourself, but other people bragging about you for you, right? And it's not like tooting your own horn, it's other people talking about you and the experience that you've given them because of your, capabilities or your product or your service or your, offering that you serve, right? And so then they're going to make the confident choice because of somebody else saying something really great about you. Now, on the flip side, that could also be damaging if some people are telling stories about you that is not so great. And so, thinking about how those stories can really benefit you or maybe not, right? Depending on what's going on in your world. But telling your brand story, highlighting milestones and key achievements or awards or cool things that you've accomplished, those types of things can really help build that deeper connection with the audience that you intend for it to go to. And they'll relate with it if it's getting in front of the right audience, right? Using some marketing to make that happen. Just thinking about how the story is going to be delivered, not just facts and figures, but the narrative, the things that you can show, the photos or the behind the scenes images or some archival footage or interviews that may have been done before, showing people behind the brand And people buy from people, right? Not necessarily inanimate objects. So people buy from people. So showing the people, showing the struggles, the triumphs, the challenges, all the things that you've gone through to get to where you are now, and showcasing your mission, your values, what makes your brand unique. All of those things can really help in telling the stories that you want people to hear and continuously hear. And the nice thing about with video or capturing what people say, it can live online forever if you wanted to. And then it can be repeated and it can be absorbed in multiple different forms and capacities and platforms. And those stories can then share and help you continuously build that word of mouth marketing by other people's word of mouth saying things about you if you're doing those types of things. So thinking about how the story and power of stories can really help. And then if you're even making just 30-second commercials, for example, what kinds of, messages or brand awareness pieces or high quality visuals and sound, of course, can be used to have a compelling call to action or mission or driven or whatever it is that you're wanting to do, right? Those are all things to consider. And what do you really want the viewer or the audience member to do after watching or hearing or seeing your brand? How do you want them to feel? What do you want actions to take after they've done that? And those are the things to consider. Even if you're trying to educate or entertain or edutainment, right? Edutainment, where you're educating and entertaining at the same time. What are some things that you can incorporate that are going to make it memorable and lasting? And then also thinking about how you're going to use it to boost your engagement or enhance your SEO, your search engine optimization, or voice search optimization. What are some things that you can do to continuously repurpose and reuse the stories that you're telling to continuously be consistent in front of people, consistently see your messaging? And it doesn't always have to be the same message every time, but maybe it's consistent branding, consistent, showing up on a regular weekly basis. Maybe it's the Instagram reels that you're putting out there, or the Facebook reels that you're putting out there, or on stories, or, if you are on TikTok or any of those places, right? Consistency is key here. YouTube videos, blog posts, all the things that you can consistently do to continuously get your name out there and continue to drive leads and engagement, those types of things. Things are going to grab attention. Short form videos grab attention while long form can build that trust and connection. And thinking about the different platforms where you're going to put those short and long form pieces or images that you're using or photos that you're using of people, just thinking about your content strategy and how you're going to match the platform and audience intent for each of those different platforms that you're going to use. And think about using like teaser clips to get people to engage them. And then they're going to go get the long form link to watch or listen to it even more. And so thinking about your entire content strategy for the storytelling and how you're going to market it and get more people that you want to see your image in your images and your content out there, and putting a plan together and identifying with that target audience that's going to either buy from you or donate to you or whatever it is that you want to do. All right. So yeah, leveraging the power of storytelling. It's a great thing. And we can go more into this, I'm sure, but for right now, let's get into our interview, and we'll keep in touch. And if you ever want some help with your storytelling strategy, feel free always to reach out to us. You can always book time with me. Do a 15-minute virtual call if you'd like. You can go to peppershock.com/book-Ray. Make sure you spell my name right. It's RHEA. So again, it's peppershock.com/book-Ray, RHEA. All right, let's get into that interview. Welcome to the Marketing Expedition podcast. I'm your host, Ray Allen. I'm the president and CEO of Peppershock Media and the founder of the Marketing Expedition community. And today's guest in the studio, at the Poderific podcast studio, we have Lewis Katz. Welcome to the show, Lewis.
Great to be here, Ray.
So I always love to start off with telling our guests and our audience a little more about you and the journey that you took to get to where you are now. And you told me you sold your IT company and now you're doing some amazing things. So just share a little bit more about Lewis.
No, absolutely. So, oh my God, I had an IT company for 23 years. and I sold it. My heart wasn't into it towards the end. I was suffering from IT PTSD. And I wanted to do something with courage, but I didn't know what. It took, wandering around in the desert of my mind for maybe a year. And then I came up with the Courage Inside.
Yeah. And every time I see you, we do these wonderful, fun networking functions once a month. It's getting hosted all over the Word of Mouth Mixers. And you introduce yourself with a harmonica.
Yes, I do.
Do you want to share? Do you want to do that again? Let's hear it.
No,
let's
absolutely.
Hear it.
Okay.
Okay, let's hear it. Yes, this is,
so I've got several, and so I have. So, do your listeners like Hendrix?
Well, I don't know. I guess we better
Jimi
ask
Hendrix?
them. See, they'll have to come around
Jimi
and share
Hendrix.
All right.
So Woodstock, 1969. Jimi Hendrix did the Star Spangled Banner. Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to do the whole thing because it's like 4 minutes, but
yeah, let's hear it.
I'm gonna do the closing riff because that's the one
that's
that I do in stand up.
Okay.
Let's see here. Wait. Oh wait, people are gonna see this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is so in the stand-up act, it's like I start with the one harmonica and it's got a really sour note.
Yeah.
And then I pull the second harmonica out on the third go around, and it has just that one note.
That's right.
That works. Anyway, it's probably better in person.
Well, some people listen to it. Some people get to see this too on YouTube, but I appreciate that. But harmonica, there's always fun. We occasionally get to go to the Yellow Pine Harmonica Festival. Have you ever heard of that?
I have, and I got a call from Harmonica John, who's based in San Diego, and he called to ask me for a ride to Yellow Pine this year.
We have a bumper sticker. It says, "Where the heck is Yellow Pine?" Except it has other words.
Right? Well, actually, so you know how Idaho is called the Gem State?
Yeah.
Why isn't it called the Where Am I State?
Where am I?
Right? Because let's say they throw you in the trunk and then drive you 10 miles out of town, and they let you out, and you're like, where am I? Right?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm in Nampa, maybe I'm in Twin, or so.
Yep, Twin Falls is another booming area for sure. The Magic Valley versus the Treasure Valley area.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. I'm an equal opportunity town roaster, I guess.
There you go. So now you do keynote speaking and presenting and also stand-up comedy, it sounds like.
Yes,
that's great.
Yeah. I think the stand-up is what got me comfortable in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it, especially to people who are afraid to speak. Because, most people would rather die than speak.
They'd be sweating bullets for sure.
They'd be, which I suppose is why they have a bridge up in Twin.
Yeah.
But look, ultimately it's easier to speak in public than jump off the Perrine Bridge.
Right. Yeah. Especially, they do a lot of bungee jumping over there. It's kind of scary.
Right?
Yeah. So tell me a little more. You were outside of this area and you came to Idaho. What brought you here?
You mean besides the plane?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. No, so I gotta say that Boise realtors have got game.
Yeah.
So we were thinking, Prescott, Arizona, We wanted somewhere that had some seasons.
Yeah.
Okay, but we didn't want extremes. Well, I like extremes. My wife didn't want extremes. She wanted a Home Depot. She wanted a hospital.
Okay.
And then, so I tuned into YouTube and I see Rachel from Go Idaho talking up Boise. And so we're like, hey, how about Boise? Okay, let's go check it out.
Yeah, and you fell in love. Don't tell anybody. No, we shouldn't tell anybody so they don't come here too.
No, don't come. Don't come to Idaho. We're actually no. You know what? I think that Idaho should make the rest of America Idaho's second state.
Oh, sure. And I'm sure that there's lots of people that could argue that point for sure.
Right?
Yeah. So, okay, now that you've sold your business after 23 years, you said?
23 years,
and
yes.
You were in IT and you did lots of things to help market your business and get it to a point where you could sell it. Walk me through a little bit of that and now how you are using what you learned in your IT business to now apply to what you're doing with the Courage Inside.
No, great question. And I think a lot of small businesses, your owner is also the employees and is the sales and marketing team and the operational team. I knew nothing. I knew absolutely nothing until towards the end when I started reaching out and tapping people who know sales and marketing and, I got coaching. It's like, oh, wait, no matter what business you're in, you got to pay attention to the sales, marketing, operational, fulfillment. It's there's a framework and it applies no matter what you do. So you're asking, how am I applying that now? I'm aware. Let's say I'm aware. Okay, I'm still wearing a lot of hats. Like I'm doing a demo reel. Every professional speaker needs a proper demo reel. So I'm working with a coach who says, okay, go rent a church, get 2 cameras at least. I had four cameras. And it's like, oh, wait, so how am I going to put this all together? Well, I could hire the videographer for $2,000, which, if you're running a proper business, $2,000, okay. If you're running it my way, that's a lot of money. And so it's like, okay, I'm learning Final Cut Pro. And then we got ChatGPT that is my trainer and taught me how to take footage from 4 cameras on 4 separate hard drives, and then the audio is a separate file, and you have to make them all sync up. Yeah. Right? So, what was the question?
Oh, just what you've learned from the business that you had sold to how you are incorporating and doing things now for your new business.
Ultimately, I think we need to delegate what is outside of our core strengths. Mm-hmm. I'm not doing that yet.
Yep.
But I know.
Well, when you have a point of exhaustion and frustration and trying to learn a new tool that you're not used to every day, that you can come to us and we'll help you.
There you go. Come. What was the name of your company? No, come to Peppershock.
Yeah.
Come to Peppershock.
Yeah, no, we get that too. Sometimes people will shoot their own and then just have us edit, and we've done that before, where we take together and put it all together for production. It's not too late. Yeah, and
you do color grading and everything, all that.
Absolutely, yeah, we can do all of those things
affordably.
Yeah. Well, it depends on what you would deem as affordable, but there's definitely the trade-off between the time of learning something new and how to do it versus trusting the professionals who know how to do it, and then the time value of money is relative, right?
No, absolutely. Don't do it all yourself. That's the lesson that I learned.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes we have to, though.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, right? It's like the DIY the do-it-yourselfers, the done-with-yous, and done-for-yous. Yeah. So there's somewhere in that trajectory of where you can go to be able to either do it yourself and take the time, but know when it's, it might be a good idea to have somebody who does it for a living and could take half or even a quarter of the time to do what you are trying to teach yourself to do. And that way you leave time to do the things that you want to do, like speak on a stage and follow up and call the people that you need to talk to in order to be in that position, rather than spending hours and hours trying to do something that you may not necessarily always be doing for your day job.
No, you don't have to convince me, right? Because it's not only that you save time, but the job gets done properly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You think I'm going to learn color grading in a day? No way. and I'm a photographer, but it's like, what? Do you call it a LUT? LUT, whatever
LUTs,
it is.
Yeah, how many
LUTs.
lights and LUTs and how much. There's lots of things to consider when putting the final touches on your video, for sure.
Right?
So let's talk about some of the things that you have learned over in either the business that you've had and now what you're doing, as far as when it does come to marketing and how you were able to work with others to do the sales and marketing side of things. What were some things that you implemented or had the people that you worked with implement to help you build your business and your brand?
So, again, it's been kind of a hodgepodge. I've been in a coaching group where I have a sales and marketing diva who's amazing, who says, okay, you need an automated campaign. And I'm like, okay, but wait. So I think the key for me is being consistent. Mm-hmm. And that's, it's not just for me, mm-hmm. right? This is the rule of the game.
Right.
Show up consistently, mm-hmm. put out content, prove your value to your ideal customers.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's how we met, is through going to these networking events that we're hosting now called Word of Mouth Mixers once a month. And businesses all over the valley are hosting a different day, time, and location each time. And you've consistently been able to show up, like you said, and make connections and, help accelerate your word of mouth marketing and tell people about what you do and all of those types of things, right?
Absolutely. And I would want to throw in this concept for consideration. William Shakespeare talked about what the world is a stage.
Yeah.
Everywhere we go, whether we're talking to one person or 10,000 people, everywhere we go, we're on stage. And we have opportunities to present to the world who we are. And sometimes it leads to unexpected, amazing results.
Yeah. The world's a stage. That's right. I love Shakespeare Festival and going to see the Idaho Shakespeare Festival. And I've been to Utah Shakespeare Festival and several others. And it's a fun experience to just hear the way that Shakespeare wrote back in the day and when he was, doing what he was doing. And then adaptations. I'm a big fan of the adaptations of where, we can bring it to modern day and understand things a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I knew him personally. And I think that he would approve. The Bard.
The Bard, yeah.
Well, we have a Shakespeare still among us. Bob Dylan, I'm thinking of.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We actually got to see him in concert when he came last summer. Yeah,
with Willie.
Yep, with Willie Nelson.
Yeah, they're in my keynote.
There you go. Okay. Yep. Well, since we talked about keynote, why don't you bring up a little bit about what your keynote is and some of the things, without giving away the farm. Obviously, people have to hire you to do that. But what are some things that you share in your keynote that you wouldn't mind sharing with us today?
I don't mind sharing at all.
Yeah.
So the keynote is called "Fortune Favors the Bold." a more courageous company, a more courageous you. And in the opening, I've got footage of the Golden Knights, the U.S. Army parachute team. And I'm up at 10,000 feet with these guys. And I got a camera, and I'm photographing them in the plane. And as they jump out of the plane, and it's amazing to me because these guys, they might have 7 or 8 combat tours, Iraq, Afghanistan. And they came back, they made it in one piece, and now they jump out of planes. You kidding? Right? I'm like, and so I talk about that you don't have to jump out of an airplane.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to.
You don't have to.
You get to, right?
You get, well, okay, there's that. But also, you don't have to do dramatic things to be courageous or bold. I've come around to the perspective, you don't even have to be courageous. Mm-hmm. You just have to tap into your core traits and values as individuals and as companies and organizations. And when we tap into those things, you know, you're going to get to know your strengths and your weaknesses. And, you know, somebody on LinkedIn is going to tell you could turn your weaknesses into superpower. No, that's, I mean, maybe sometimes, but
they might be the sidekick to the superhero.
It's the sidekick, right? Our weaknesses are our sidekicks. But the point is that we have to crank up the volume on what's inside of us to build a successful organization.
Very cool. So yeah, I think that if being courageous means jumping out of an airplane, you know, but maybe not necessarily having to jump out of the airplane, then I think that would make sense.
Right? And now, nothing against jumping out of the airplane. I may do it yet. I haven't. Yeah. I haven't. But doing these things that stretch our comfort zone makes us show up better in our lives, whether it's personal or professional.
Yeah, getting comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Getting comfortable with the uncomfortable, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Ancient concept.
Yeah.
Want to start a podcast but don't know where to begin? At Poderific, we don't just produce podcasts. We help you create auditory experiences that will captivate your audience. Our state-of-the-art podcast recording studio, powered by Peppershock Media, is designed for creators like you. Record with high-quality equipment supported by our expert team and distribute your podcast across major platforms like Apple and Spotify. Whether you're launching your first episode or you're a seasoned podcaster, we got you covered. Visit Poderific.com today to learn how we can help you produce, record, and share your story with the world. Your podcast deserves to be Poderific.
So tell me about some of the things that you would like to see happen with your new business now. Where do you want to go with your keynote, and, you know, what kind of places do you want to be in front of? Like, what kind of audiences are your ideal, you know, audience that you'd like to be in front of?
So, here in Boise, I think there are a lot of opportunities for the message of everyday courage. Mm-hmm. I see it ultimately as national and international, because we all could use a boost with that everyday courage.
Yeah, yeah.
And it works for a lot of different kinds of organizations. Mm-hmm. I've thought about focusing on military and first responder communities, because those people are expected to always be on,
right,
24/7. And my message to those folks is that, hey, you know what? You can take a break. It's okay that you're, like, you could be a friend of mine was sharing an experience of his friend, the fire chief, who won't hesitate to run into a burning building to save a cat, but just try and get him down to his kid's school to talk to the principal. That scares him, right? So we all have things that scare us. And I think we need a little grace about it. But yeah, okay, I'm going to work on that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So tell me about some of the things that you have gotten to do now with your new business and speaking and some opportunities that you've had in front of people so far.
So far, I was the closing keynoter for the Idaho Library Association annual conference.
Fun.
It was very fun. They were a great audience. At the beginning, I'm like, okay, where are my skydivers, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking librarians, they're not, all these hands go up. I'm like,
All right.
should I do it? And they're like, well, yeah.
Yeah.
And
living on the edge.
right? Have you done it?
Not skydiving. I've done the parachuting or paragliding, but not
Doesn't
skydiving.
count.
Yeah, no, I haven't done that yet.
Okay, because
I would if I, had the opportunity to do so. Because
Well-
I'm more of a risk taker than other people in my life. But yeah.
Well, okay. So tell you what, I'm going to share this with you and your audience that in late May or starting late May, when the instructors thaw out in Parma,
Sure.
they do tandem jumps.
Nice.
I would like to put together a group of courageous leaders,
Yeah.
and it's called the Leap of Faith.
Okay.
And we're going to go down to Parma, and we're going to do a tandem jump in a safe,
Fun.
controlled environment. It's going to have a Zoom call before and after, where you bring one of your fears
Yeah.
that has been holding you back, and we're going to consult.
Yeah.
And I'm going to help you with that.
Nice.
So it's a whole package that includes, a literal leap of faith.
Right. Yeah. That sounds amazing.
And let's see. So you had asked about other opportunities that I've had. I did a business education series workshop at the Boise Chamber.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That was a 2-hour workshop. I'm going to be a keynoter for the Business Builder Summit in September
Very cool.
for IBL events.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Nick. I know.
Nick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
And Anna,
Shout out
yeah.
to Nick.
Yeah.
Aldinger.
Aldinger, yep. Yeah.
Did I say it right?
Yes.
Cool,
That's right.
okay.
You did.
So, things are popping. I'm excited about it. I am looking to get on as many stages as possible. I'm building an army of everyday courage warriors,
Oh, fun. Yeah.
right? So everybody could be a part of that.
That's great. So I always want to know what inspired you. I mean, what kind of things? I mean, you sold the business. You said you had IT, PTSD, but what was it that? And you said that you kind of were trying to figure out what exactly you wanted to do. What gave you this idea about the courage inside?
What gave it originally? This goes back a few years. Actually, this goes way back when my buddy Bernard and I were in our 20s.
Okay.
And we used to do this thing called the Courage Run. And there was a 4-mile and an 8-mile. The 4-mile had a really steep hill at the end. And the 8-mile had 2 of those.
Or like running, like jogging, running, or
We were runners.
Okay, gotcha.
We didn't like the term joggers.
Yeah, no, runners.
Right.
Okay. Well, because motorcycle runs or, so I wasn't sure if it was like foot running.
Foot running.
Gotcha.
Cross country,
Okay.
track, all that.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were runners. So that's where originally I had a website called The Courage Run.
Ah, okay.
And so that was the first callback to my friend Bernard and I running, literally running.
Yeah.
Okay. And the Courage Run was my response to living in what I refer to as a police state, where during COVID.
Right.
And I was so frustrated and angry a lot.
Yeah.
And I needed something, a safe space for myself, just to put my ideas and my photos out there. And so I came up with the Courage Run.
Okay.
And then it evolved into what it is now.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Very
it's been, it's a lifetime journey, even though,
Yeah.
I started the actual business in the last year.
Right. Well, that's really cool. And so now really it's just getting your name out there and doing the things to help accelerate that word of mouth and getting people talking about you and attending and seeing you keynote and then sharing it with others and building all of that. Your demo reel, that'll be helpful. And get out there and get on the speakers bureaus and all the websites that you can sign up to do to be known that you would like to be a speaker.
Absolutely. And speaking is a vehicle. It's not the mission is the heart. The speaking is one way to get it out there. I'm doing other ways as well, because I like to say, God gave me this big, beautiful mouth, and I'm going to use it. So I could be a speaker, I could be an MC. I'm also, we started where we talked about SSB, right? Star Spangled Banner. Yeah. So 4th of July is coming up, and I'm looking into opportunities to do the Star Spangled Banner on harmonica. Yeah. As part of an event.
There you go.
So anybody out there listening who's got their finger on the pulse of 4th of July events, I'm available for that.
Okay. Well, and then you'll definitely have to seek out Yellow Pine. Usually I think it's the first full weekend in August.
Yes.
The reason I remember that is because my son's birthday is August 4th, and we've been on his birthday in Yellow Pine listening to the Harmonica Festival, and it's just the whole town of Yellow Pine is totally into it. You don't have cell phone reception. You don't have, and people just, are out having a good time, and some unsuspecting larger name people come without knowing, and so sometimes you get to see some concerts from people that you wouldn't otherwise think would be there. So I won't say anything about who or anything, because it's it's what it is, but it's definitely a fun time to be. And they do have open mic sessions. They have some decent names coming and sharing, and they also play guitar and other instruments. And they even, when my son was young, they even let him come up and play the washboard, with the stick.
That's so cool.
And then they have an auction, and Anthony Mendoza, auctioneer, will raise some money for the town, because it's an unincorporated city, meaning that everything that they do has to be fundraised, because they don't really get government funding or anything. So anything that they want to do, if they want to, fill the potholes in the road, they have to pay for it themselves. So they do a fundraiser, and it's always a good time. And people, will buy something and then donate it back, and then it'll be bought again, and fun things like that.
That's so cool. So I'm not going to be able to give Harmonica John a ride, because I'm going to the National Speakers Association conference, so the timing is all wrong.
Next year.
No, I'm gonna. I'm gonna go up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drive up, and I don't know. Like, it sounds like you have to camp, right?
Well, yeah. There's usually campers, and there's a couple motels, but not really. It's you're definitely finding people that or you're camping, or you're bringing a camper, or you find somebody with a camper that you can stay with. But it's a fun time for sure. Anyway, not to make a whole thing about Yellow Pine, but you're a harmonica player.
I'm a harmonica player, and it's like I kind of dropped it for many years, and I've picked it back up, and I'm learning the chromatic, which is it's basically a whole other instrument. It's been my nemesis for 40 plus years, because I could never figure out, button, no button, right?
Yeah.
So I'm learning that. It's a fun challenge.
Good.
Yeah.
Do you ever play with other people too, like in a band or anything like that?
It's been ages, but I would definitely be open to it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's, any other kind of final thoughts that you'd like to share with the audience about you, about what you're doing, words of inspiration that you'd like to share? We're on a marketing journey, but at the same time, we're kind of, sharing about your needs and marketing. So tell us more, Lewis.
Okay. So I have a tagline for my business, and it's this: live large, be bold, have faith, fear nothing. And that infuses everything that I do. I would love people to come visit my website, which is always in progress. So, don't judge me.
Aren't we all? It's
Right?
always that way.
and I got a really cool YouTube channel as well.
Yeah.
So, and the YouTube videos are basically me, and, some of it's funny, some of it's serious. It's always thoughtful. And the production values are not too bad.
That's good. Very good. Awesome. What is your YouTube channel? What's the
It's
username?
The Courage Inside TV.
Okay. Excellent. And what's your website?
TheCourageInside.com.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much for dropping by the Poderific podcast studio today. We're happy to have you.
Thank you, Ray. You're awesome. Your team is amazing, and I love the word of mouth mixer. So anybody who hasn't been and is thinking about it, stop thinking about it. Do it.
Yeah.
How's that?
That was great.
And
yeah.
you didn't ask me to do that.
No, I did not. Thank you for that. And for those that are listening now, just, the word of mouth mixers are once a month here in the Treasure Valley, Idaho area. But for those of you who are listening outside of the area, there is plans to do something online eventually. People keep asking me, and yes, we're going to try to figure out how to take the word of mouth mixers to an online platform at some point. I keep thinking maybe we'll call it World of Mouse. Instead of word of mouth, because you're using a mouse to be online.
yeah.
I don't know. I keep coming up with what I'll call it, but it'll probably just be word of mouth mixers online or something. I don't know, something simple. But the idea though is that people get together, they talk about who they are, what they do, and we engage in some sort of activity. Yep. That makes it memorable and has an experience, so that way people can remember the time that they had with you when you're talking to other people about who you are and what you do. And we always have sponsors give away some fun things, and so people get rewarded. And if they give recommendations, referrals, reviews, ratings, rankings, and then rewards. Yep.
No, it's great stuff, and people need to come to these things to learn how to present themselves in a way that's not salesy. Connect with people, get to know them, make friends, and people like to do business with their friends, assuming that they're competent.
Right. And then building trust.
Yeah.
So then I said the C's too. They can set up a coffee chat, a conference call or conversation, or cocktail hour. I still try to get people to say they take Ray to Cancun, because that would, of course, open up the doors to lots of possibilities, right?
Why wouldn't
the 3 C's. Or the 4th C if you want to do that. Yeah.
No, why wouldn't
Cabo.
they take you to exactly.
Either one. I'm not picky.
No.
But anyway, so the 5 R's and the 3 C's, ratings, rankings, reviews, referrals, and then rewards, and then coffee, conference call, or cocktail hour to meet beyond the walls of when you're talking to somebody. You've met with people beyond the walls of the mixers, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Tell me how it turned out. What happened?
So what happened was I can think of one gentleman that I had coffee with.
Good.
And I felt like he ought to meet another one of my people in my circle, and I put the two of them together.
And that's how word of mouth works.
No, that's how it works. So can I put something out to the universe here?
Absolutely.
So I'm delusionally confident, and I'm kind of a wild man if you haven't figured it out, but I have a dream, okay? My dream is that within 15 years, I would like to skydive into Madison Square Garden, and I know they got a roof, so they're gonna have to cut a hole in it. And I skydive in, and it's gonna be sold out, and I'm going to do my Fortune Favors the Bold, but I'm going to have like probably a surf rock band back. Like it's going to be a whole show. Okay. That's my ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Is to combine speaking with music and comedy and just have it all and have it in a big venue, right? So
it's cool.
Putting it out there.
All right. Well, we'll have to see how that turns out for you. I love it.
Right. And in the meanwhile, happy to
dream big.
Come talk to your Rotary Club.
There you go. Awesome. Well, thank you for listening. And for those of you who are listening, the best thing that you can do for Lewis and I is share this with others that you know that need to hear what he had to say today. And then also give us a review, because reviews on podcasts are like gold, and on YouTube as well. And until next time, everybody, enjoy your marketing journey.
Thanks for listening to the Marketing Expedition podcast. Want to continue the journey? Don't miss out on new episodes. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. Wouldn't it be great if there was one place you can go to get all the latest information and tips about marketing and advertising? The Marketing Expedition community is that place. People like you gather in our online community to build relationships with others and find the latest marketing trends, tactics, tools, and technology. We help you build your brand and your bottom line. Start your adventure today. Visit themarketingexpedition.com to find out more.